Welcome to episode number 7 of Digilize Labs by Digilize Agency. We're back in the usual spot. The weather is great. And yeah, let's dive right into it.
Summarized quite well.
The weather is actually great, way too good almost.
Yeah, this spring been a blessing so
still
far.
quite
Yeah,
cold,
but
at least the sun, yeah.
I don't believe it. I think there is somewhere 2 weeks or 3 weeks where the weather will go crazy again. We have hailstorm, snow or whatever.
But it's been the whole month of March now.
Yeah,
Let's see. Let's hope not.
Let's dive in.
Well, let's dive in right with the first question by Nignas. And he asked, regarding the last episode.
The OpenAI IPO.
Yes, he asked, do you believe that the IPO will have a major impact on competition and speed in general? I'm guessing in that specific sector or industry.
Yeah, fair.
So what do you think? Will the OpenAI IPO will have a major impact on the speed and competition?
I mean, on the speed for sure, because it is more money in compute, more
capital,
money in compute equals bigger models, etc. How the competition will react is a bit, to be honest, I don't know how they will be. But I mean, we see with Anthropic that they also want to do an IPO. Same reasons, they just need more capital in order to scale faster, more GPUs, more compute.
But that's competition then, no? Like they're trying to keep up with now the pace that OpenAI can do with the
for now I would still say Anthropic is a bit further up there with their training runs.
And I think they're really like OpenAI is scrambling a lot. I don't know if they really have a clear path.
Do you think this will change?
With the IPO?
No, not necessarily. I guess also with the IPO, but just in general, do you think, I mean, now for sure Anthropic is the leader, or do you think maybe in half a year it will be different?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like anything can happen.
You cannot say that in AI. The problem is one company releases a model, the other company releases the next model 2 days after. Which one is better? Do you even have enough time to evaluate? That is most of the time, for me at least, the thing. Yeah. I don't have enough time to test 18 different models and then see, okay, that is better. No, that is better in that use case, or in agentic AI, it's that model or whatever. So it's always hard to properly evaluate, and the benchmarks are also not really what I can trust.
The benchmarks.
Yeah, and especially with AI, it is way more about the feeling too. That is.
No, but I trust the kind of business direction that Anthropic is going into way more, because OpenAI, I hear every week that the board is like these 3 people left again and blah, blah. And Sam Altman also is kind of in panic mode, other than like having a clear direction. And if you look at Anthropic, for example, you see Claude in the sense of you have Claude Code, then you had Claude Cowork, now you have Claude Design. What are the next trends, Claude HR, Claude whatever. It can they can put it into every vertical. They build a new kind of UI or integrate it all into one, and at the end they have one.
There are the mega threat of any
like
startup.
Any
SaaS tool.
Yeah.
On a random Tuesday, they release Claude Design, and suddenly
already
Figma.
Like 100,000. Yeah, they're done. Figma is actually, I don't know how they. I mean, their stock isn't looking too good.
No, since the IPO, it just went down.
80%, I think.
Hurts a bit, but
so lucky that we missed that one.
Yeah, true.
Back in the day after.
I was so hyped for it.
Yeah, you could have had a bit of fun in the first 3 days, and then sell it.
Gambling. So
yeah, of course.
It is.
Almost everything is gambling nowadays. What is not?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
We're AI podcast after all.
True. But nice question, to be honest. And I think definitely
it will
the IPO equals just more compute.
Yeah.
That is
or also a bigger bubble. Because this is kind of what we saw back in with huge crashes, right? That they did their IPO too early, right? So too much money in there, and then no value being generated. So, I mean, I just hope we don't see like a major crash, but probably only like in a year or two, so, or even 3 years.
At some point it has to.
The whole problem is that if you don't achieve AGI, then the bubble explodes. Because that much money, like we already put into that, is already
then we come back to the
over.
question, what's AGI?
Yeah, but I wouldn't
define
say
it?
AGI necessarily. I would say very efficient models.
Yeah, I mean,
and efficient
AGI
compute.
doesn't have a proper definition. A lot of people call it that. Another set of people call it that. It is.
Yeah, okay,
just
but let's agree on one. I mean, AGI is artificial general intelligence. So, kind of that.
Then you need to go back into the definition of what is intelligence. And then we open
Sure,
a
but
big
it's a
ass.
bit
I think in
bucket
general, AGI kind of mean, at least for most people, I think, generally means that we're just like at an intelligence level that is by far better than us, or much more intelligent than us.
Exceeding the human brain.
Yes.
That is. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, no, I think the bubble will burst if AI doesn't bring any value. Like if it doesn't bring actually real world value, because currently all of those companies are not making money. They also, the companies using it also, obviously some of them making a shit ton of money for I don't know, services, but overall I think the statistics are quite bad in actual real world kind of additional value that it brought. So I think that has to improve, I guess.
I think that is in that sense then more because we're still slapping AI onto our existing infrastructure.
Exactly what I was thinking.
And that is just not efficient.
I feel like most people, most businesses, they're way too scared to then actually, they want AI, but they don't really understand what it means. So kind of the magic word, I think, is native. Being AI native.
Yeah, then we're also getting into another subsector. When do you trust your agent? Because we had earlier too the question, okay, it is super nice and everything, but can I give my whole email account to an agent and be sure that it just sends out that I'm okay with?
Yeah.
Or is there... But there are also a lot of things happening in the open source world right now because of OpenClaw and all of that stuff. We had it in episode 4. Whatever.
Yeah.
But they are all now trying, especially I think Ramp and Prex. They are all trying to build basically the environment around the OpenClaw agent, because the agent is already really good, but you need some way of bettering or increasing the trust from the human to the agent, and that is what they're building right now. There's basically also like a sandbox, but an evaluator LLM is inside of the sandbox and checks on the requests that go out and inside. I haven't read through the paper, but it's really interesting.
Necessary if the model is finally good enough. As a perfect segue as well, I have in my topics as well, this GPT 5.4. They ran it through different benchmarks that actually compare it to real world tasks. And it beat 83% of knowledge work tasks. So basically across like 44 occupations or jobs spanning 9 different sectors and industries. They tested it basically on how it would compare to human work. And 84% was the result that they actually improved on. But of course, it's still, I don't know if I personally would trust a model with using or handling my emails.
Or to be honest, I'm really close to it.
Locally.
Okay, that is
for sure.
That is the underlying thing, that it runs locally on my hardware, not inside of a cloud. But other than that, I'm almost there, I would say, with my local instance, that I actually will throw my all of my email accounts and basically let it first of all clean it. And then it can basically learn from my emails how I write it, and then I will create a skill, etc.
Makes sense.
And then it's fun. But the first thing is locally, because I don't want that my data got even more out of there and all of that stuff. But yeah.
I mean, you're pulling it from US servers, from
Gmail. That's also what
it's there already. But it's
but I think what we're seeing is a notion in this. I think this is more and more, especially with the EU AI Act being now like more into place and being enforced. I feel like this is a notion where it's slowly starting to appear here, where people are much more conscious about what they upload, what they do, and what happens with their data.
It should be for sure.
But very good point. We still all use Gmail and everything else. So at the end, it really doesn't really matter at the moment. But sure,
I
the
actually
vision is
found a new tool that I want to host, basically an IMAP server, or not an IMAP server, but a complete mail server with the DHmark, IMAP connection, and IPOP connection, the new one, and whatever. And
I'll
you
put
can
that in Stack and Skip, I think. Otherwise, we move around too much, no?
Yeah, but that is just fun, and I actually want to migrate everything because I don't like that my data is in there.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Yeah, let's give us an update of how it goes.
I forgot the name, but we will put it in the link.
Yeah, in the show notes. Next one on my list, what I maybe you guys saw, but Tim Cook is leaving Apple, or not really leaving. He's moving to executive chairman in September. But
before the new iPhones launch, I think that's quite interesting. Like 2 weeks before the new iPhones drop, he's leaving, and who is it? The engineering
John Turnus,
the
Apple senior vice president of hardware engineering.
Yeah.
He's been at the company, I think, since ever as well.
That's an interesting guy, because he's like the first CEO that really comes from a plain technical background, like plain engineering, only engineering. He never did any kind of business regards, at least not at Apple. So I love the guy though. Like he did a lot of the the events, the releases and stuff of the new iPhones.
Yeah, and I mean it's been rumored for since quite a while already. So
I think that I heard at least that Tim Cook wanted to leave way earlier already, but he couldn't because Trump then got into the office, and also all of those changes where also Tim Cook was at the White House with all of the others and stuff, and then he
interesting, I didn't know.
And then he had to stay a bit longer, and now he's...
Yeah, but I feel like this is also very Apple-like, that they really take their time. It's
Fair
not
enough,
like it's not like there's no massive things. It's like a smooth transition, not like a sudden
they think
reset.
stuff through most of the time.
Yeah. So
I think they even thought the AI stuff through. I watched the video last
right?
In a few years we will look back and we will think
slowly,
how smart was Apple.
Yeah, they're just starting with getting the hardware ready for it, waiting for the others to play around with models to finally have that model that actually works in real world and people trust it, and then they put it on top of the hardware. At least that's what I think. And if it actually works out at the end, hey, smart, why not?
Yeah, so
quite sick.
Really looking forward to it. So this might actually be the first weak signal we see regarding Apple's run to actually useful AI on device.
Yeah, I mean the fun part is you said he is from the hardware team basically.
Yeah, leader.
Yeah, no, he is.
Engineering leader.
Perfect, because
hardware. Yeah.
What is the next iPhone? It's definitely not gonna be an iPhone.
I mean, the next one will be, but at some point...
Yeah. I mean, what is the next step for humanity from phone? Because we went from computer to phone, and now what comes after?
Humans into account. I think that takes a while. I mean, first of all, get a Siri running that actually can open my emails and stuff, and then we can look further. But at some point, the interface will change.
Interesting times.
That will take a while for people to get used.
Yeah,
it's not
for
the
sure.
technology. That will go quicker.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I really hope so. I'm ready for it. I mean, we
I don't want to see a screen anymore. I just want to talk.
Yeah, sure.
I think that is.
But even as trying to figure out the best way, we had that already like 3 episodes ago. Like the best way to interact with your iMessage.
Sure, but this is already in the future. I see that. I also want that. But first of all, I just want useful AI features on my device that I currently have.
That would be great.
I think that's not too much to ask for, especially for Apple. So.
No, agree.
Let's start with that, and then I'm all up for you.
Then we can do
then we can go
different
crazy.
interface, different hardware.
Sounds good to me. But I have a perfect segue actually earlier from the IPO that we talked about. You guys probably heard it already, but the SpaceX XAI IPO is quite close, and they actually made the deal now that XAI. Who was it? SpaceX. Who bought who? I have to read it again. I think that XAI bought, or at least they combined, They combined the SpaceX and XAI now, and they're valued over $1 trillion now.
SpaceX bought XAI.
Yeah, somehow. But they're valued, the first company I think that is over 1 trillion. Is it the first one? Do you guys know? I don't know. There was a guess.
The
Is there another
IPO
company called valued
no,
at
no.
a trillion?
The IPO is going to be the biggest so far.
Right. Yeah.
But well,
Yeah.
let's
That's
see.
interesting.
I mean, there is another big news for XAI. I know if you heard
Cursor,
about that,
right?
but Cursor, exactly.
I saw
They
this one.
now felt like, okay, there are so many labs that are basically also building the harness, like Cloud Code, whatnot. So they need to also jump onto that train. And what is the easiest
what
path?
happened there?
This is super interesting. They are now in partnership, basically, but they have a clause that if at the end of the year XAI doesn't, or XAI can buy a Cursor or gives them 10 million for their corporation. It's basically either they pay 60 million for the whole company at the end of the year, or they pay 10 million for the corporation that happened in that year right now. That
Okay,
is
I just thought
sounds
they're
like a
gonna
very
buy
nice
them
deal.
for 10 million because
no,
that
no,
would
no,
be
no,
cheap.
no, no.
Billion.
10 billion they're
Yeah.
giving them.
Billion?
10 million.
10, they're not gonna get.
No, 10 million for the corporation,
Yeah.
not for the corporation, like not for the company.
Should I look it up? I don't think
Like,
it
to
was.
me-
10 billion just for working together with
But
them?
that
is
would be
not-
also, but
not like that would
But
be
10
crazy.
mil-
that would be.
mean,
I
would
believe
love
it's
that. That
million.
would be a
I
good
saw an
clause for
M,
Cursor. Yeah,
I
that would
believe.
make
No,
more
no,
sense.
no, no, of course not.
Not?
It's
Is it-
AI.
But
Every
it's not-
time,
it's
no.
not buying the
no.
company though.
No, Cursor
No,
has
it-
also given SpaceX the right to acquire
That is-
Cursor
Okay, that's
later
different,
this
yeah.
year for 60 billion or
Yes, that
pay
makes more
10
sense.
billion for our work together.
Wow.
Crazy.
I mean,
Wow.
10 million. You can't even.
2 GPUs nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even
Billion though, just for
power
working
one
together is a
one data
crazy
center
statement.
for a day for 10 million, or
For
maybe.
a company that does $0 in profit, that is a crazy statement. They're literally burning 1 billion a month.
True, but then I would also argue, what
Crazy.
do they know that we don't?
I guess, but
Probably.
burning 1 billion a month is also a crazy statement.
Yeah, sure,
How
but
much is OpenAI burning again a month?
I don't know.
I think it's also shit.
Also
Too much
probably
money.
See you next
billion.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Also
more.
way too much.
I mean, depends on what you account into everything.
No.
But-
But SpaceX is also an interesting case. Like they do 80% of their revenue just from their own Starlink satellites, not even from launches for different companies. So, like launching their satellites. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think
And operating them.
Yeah. Should be, yeah.
I mean,
I think that was their rescue back in the days
like the
to
money machine
exactly.
to build up
They
more.
needed to build that in order to fund their research.
Yeah, but also like military-wise and etc. It's
Yeah,
quite a,
I
quite
mean-
a beneficial structure to
I
have
mean,
a network.
you see now he has the biggest network of satellites up there.
Yeah, and been quite vital in a lot of wars already.
Yeah,
You saw in
that's what I'm saying,
Ukraine,
yeah.
Iran.
Yeah,
this
not
literally,
just wars, in every
Yeah,
bad situation, I would say.
I feel like
Think a lot
we
of
should
revenue
have do this like a deep dive in SpaceX on how they do
we
their
should at some
business
point,
because
yeah.
it's really interesting.
David
I'm
Sandra?
also going to throw around with half knowledge here right now, but I read an article quite long ago. But the interesting part is that there's like only like a limited amount of frequency in space that you kind of like can communicate through it, and nobody kind of knows about it. But SpaceX owns like 60% of those frequencies. And that is the actual big deal behind all this, because everything needs to communicate it through their free. I'm not like I have
Through
to
their
look it up
protocol
again,
or-
but
No, you're
it
right.
was that is
Yeah.
the mind-boggling thing that,
Yeah.
or I think it was even more than 60% if I'm not wrong.
And I
But
think
everyone
even-
shooting up satellites and whatever up there will need to use those frequencies in the future.
But those are interesting because the Amazon, for example, acquired, like they bought
Yeah.
a range of frequencies, and there was exactly the range of frequencies that Apple's SOS function on their phone, the satellite SOS function, used. So now Apple is scrambling again because all of
They
their
need to-
satellites that they bought, or even, I don't know if they put them to space, but whatever, they can't really make use of them anymore because Amazon kind of struck their way off. It's
Yeah.
quite a crazy.
I feel like we-
money making again.
We need to make a big episode. So guys, if you guys would like to have a deep dive on this, please
we
let
should
us
actually, yeah.
please let us know, because I
Space
think we
episode.
probably do it either way. But
10th episode. That will be
Maybe,
would be
yes.
quite interesting. Yeah. No, because it's quite
Some
tough
fun
because the
stuff.
phones are literally hard coded to that frequency. You can't even push an update or something because it's the chip in the phone that has that frequency to that satellite, and it's every iPhone that is whatever.
and they're somehow limited.
Own
I mean,
episode.
let's see, let's make a deep
yeah.
dive, do some research.
It's quite
But
crazy.
fun. Actually, really interesting.
I mean, good investment. If you like, if
Also
you like,
kudos
if they
to the
freaking
guy that had
shoot
the idea
up
at Amazon.
data centers in the future, then
And that will definitely happen.
Yeah, at some point.
that's basically owning the frequencies. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You own the
I
street.
thought that the
and every
Starlink
car-
satellites, the new one, use light. Like I thought at least that they communicate through like light signals to each other, but maybe I'm.
Let's do more research before
Yeah, I
we
think so.
throw
I think
around
so.
with
Don't listen to us
half-known
yet.
facts, because I'm also not sure anymore.
Yeah.
But next,
Got a good one. You got one? You go first.
I
had the last
just
one.
I just saw what, like we talked about it briefly before.
Go ahead.
Last week we talked about it with the Anthropic Mythos model, still quite crazy. But apparently there was a security breach of an unknown. Like there's not a lot of information out there yet, so I'm sure we will give you more information about this next week. But apparently there was a security breach, and an unknown group of hackers or whatever had access to the model, which is quite scary. Let's hope they didn't get any information out of it or any code or whatever.
What I read on X was basically that there were just a bunch of guys. They tried it out to use autocomplete, so the AI, to basically build the URL. And then once they found the URL, they could hit Mythos. That's it.
Nah.
No, that I don't know if it's true,
Actually?
but it sounds plausible in my brain, because I mean they don't build a whole new API backend or whatever, so they just change the URL, and if you guess that URL, then
Yeah, but what
That would
I
be-
suppose is that they have that in an air gap data center somewhere, like the model weights and stuff. I don't think
yeah,
they just
that,
have that. In
that for sure. But I mean
connected
the
database.
companies in Classwork, they need access through an API, don't they, in order to use it. And I know there's
but
of course
guessing
some
that
ID
sounds
in
a
the
bit-
background
yeah.
or something as a checkup, but I think that is
It's
relatively
gonna be
easy
off
to
in
get.
there and stuff. Like if not, then I don't know what like that product is worth this and that much. You know, it's like the Krabby Patty formula.
We'll just
Not
remind you of Claude Code pushing itself to
valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very valid.
Everything is possible.
I mean, yeah, everything
nowadays,
is possible.
Nowadays,
Would be
everything
very
is possible
crazy, to be
again.
honest. But yeah, hey, why not? Maybe next episode we hear that it's actually happened.
Yeah, but the way bigger thing is Vercel got hacked
Oh yeah,
through
Yeah,
a third party. How was it called again? The context.ai, I
I
think.
don't even know anymore, but yeah, they sent an email yesterday saying at standards nowadays we think that none of
We
the
don't
credentials
have-
are hit. but
Yes.
I heard a
yes,
lot
yes.
that only the sensitive, like the end variables that are marked as sensitive, were actually safe.
Yeah, all of the
For
others.
some reason
not.
they're at a more safer level, I guess, and the others are just exposed. And that would be crazy because Vercel has, I don't even know how many customers, but they all have end variables. It's all API keys, etc.
And I think it's not only API keys that you got through that, but also the Google IDs and stuff like that. So you
Everything,
could
probably.
imitate basically the OAuth.
Crazy.
And the group that, I don't know if they are actually responsible behind it, but they're selling the data for $2 million on a dark web forum.
Cheap.
Sounds
Shiny
like a
hunters.
bargain, to be honest.
Yeah, especially
2
what,
million.
especially what they are putting in the description is so many developers are using Next.js and TurboPack and stuff like that, and they have control over the source code. So basically you could push an update to the source code, and everyone that updates or installs Next.js after that is infected. So basically, not 90%, but 60% of developers use, I think, Next.js and Turbo and all of that. That is a whole ecosystem.
It's gonna be interesting
It
to
would be
see.
quite bad for me, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
rework the whole tech stack real quick.
Let's,
Yeah, okay, let's pray that doesn't happen, or didn't happen already. But yeah. No, also a good segue, actually. My next topic is about, you probably heard it, the North Korean, like basically North Korea is trying to infiltrate like Western companies.
Yeah.
But they do that quite well nowadays. And basically what they do is they, steal identities. They actually just do that. And then they use AI video filters, etc., voice filters to pass the interview rounds. But it's actually North Koreans, but they look like, So people nowadays, I saw interviews already where the people actually forced the workers to put like 3 fingers on top of their face and stuff, because only then you can see it. It's like, here, 3 fingers, like,
Yeah, I've seen it as
this
well.
kind of way, it's quite crazy. And statistics say that around, let's say, 3,000 plus workers from North Korea have already infiltrated EU-based companies. They only target EU, like UK, like 5 countries, UK, Germany, this kind of area. And try to get into those big companies. And it's, dark numbers is probably way higher, but the official numbers are roughly around 600 million that they generate for the Pyongyang's weapon programs. And they also already found backdoors, like extortion layers, basically, that they can say every time, let's say North Korea wants something, or if you don't proceed, we're going to just delete your backend or leak all of your data, etc. Or what also has already happened is that it silently leaks proprietary code to North Korea, etc. So they're trying to actually bring their own people in. End of the story, but it's quite a crazy. Like you see what AI can also do in a negative way if you use it in in an extortive kind of way.
For sure.
So
yeah, that's
a bit scary.
It is because those companies don't realize it. Plus, in my stack and skip, there's actually it's called DPRK. That's a Chinese kind of program for it, I think. But there's a deepfake detection tool now, made for companies to run when they do online hiring to detect if people are using those kind of deepfake tools. And
yeah, but there needs to happen something in the whole identity space.
Isn't Sam Altman's company there? What is it called?
IA thingy scan,
but they recently had some news as well.
Like but I don't want to put my retina scan onto some database.
But we need to find some kind of solution, I guess.
Future will tell. Yeah. Future will tell.
At some point we go into a supermarket.
Fun. No.
We'll see what happens, Yeah,
nice.
But that's my main points.
Yeah, I only have one small point. Codex has a huge update.
Again?
They also they jumped on the same browser use, can now control your desktop and so on, kind of similar with Perplexity.
Code,
but I actually heard that it should work really, really, really good.
Okay.
So we
on that note
gotta check it
out. We will try it out for you guys for next week and keep you updated on if it's actually useful or not.
Yeah.
And I think this was about it for this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a questions, whatever you guys want. Keep building and
enjoy the weather. See ya.